going to be the ball game. 6, 5, 4, 3. They can't snap it. They can't stop it. They can't win it. Alabama wins the ball game.
Derek Thomas, linebacker, Alabama.
He was a nightmare for people that had to try to prepare for him because he had unique skills.
Just go get the quarterback. I felt sorry for some of those poor tackles that came in and had to go against him because they didn't realize what they were getting themselves into.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs. Have some fun.
Son, I got to do better than this.
Lights out.
Sacking the cornerback is just like you devastate a city, or you cream a multitude of people. I mean, it's just like you put all the offensive players in one bag, and I just take a baseball bat and beat on the bag. So each time he came over there, I tried to tear his damn head off.
Let's play some football. Let's play some football.
The pressure is on. This is Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Focus on what you want to do, what you want to accomplish. Think about that. Don't think about how you feel, how tired you are, how hot it is. You got to push yourself on the field when you're playing football.
It's my honor to present the National Championship Trophy to Coach Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide.
To me, this is the ultimate team. All these guys bought into everything they needed to do to be the best players that they could be. There's more togetherness on this team than almost any team that we've ever had. And they had to overcome and persevere so much adversity through this season, and they've done it magnificently. And I'm so proud of this group for what they've been able to accomplish and going undefeated and winning the national championship.
Streaming live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and the Tide 100.9 app. Here is your host of Off the Edge, Jacob Harrison.
Your man overthrown. Spit out the ball.
Hello there. Good morning. Welcome in to Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Jacob Harrison here with you, Toga, behind the glass. Going to talk some Alabama Crimson Tide football for the next 57 minutes, streaming live on the Tide 100.9 app, available on Android and Apple devices. You can also check out the live streams on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, as well. All platforms at Off the Edge 109. You can check out the Instagram and TikTok pages as well for other great content that we push out every single day. What we're going to get into today, usually Wednesdays is like solely focused on getting ready for the next opponent. And last week kind of did that a little bit with Texas A&M, but came to conclusions too soon on Texas A&M that I think led to me being more wrong than I usually am. So going to avoid that a little bit. And take more of a broad approach with Mississippi State, at least, for the most part, and then continue to get deeper and deeper into them throughout the week, because Mississippi State, they're 5 points away from being 5-0. They're not nearly as bad of a football team as maybe expected to be. That being said, who they've lost to, LSU, Memphis, those aren't great football teams either. So it's kind of, it's a little bit, back and forth with Mississippi State. They're certainly not a great football team. They did beat Texas A&M, who just beat Alabama. And those of you that live by the transitive property for whatever reason in college football, though it does not apply, maybe that throws a little bit of worry into your weekend. But we'll get into all that as well. Of course, the show is always brought to you by Alabama Vintage at Alabama VTG on the Instagram account, where you can connect with those brand ambassadors for 15% off your order at alabamavtg.com. And Charlie's got a great selection in there for you. It's Mississippi State hate week. It's cowbell hate week. I hate nothing more on this planet than cowbells. I hate cowbells. To be honest, I have no intentions of ever going to Starkville, Mississippi because of cowbells. I hate cowbells. Hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them, hate them. And there's an underlying reason as to why that dates back to my high school years. But maybe I'll get into that later. But if it's hate week, you got to have the merch that goes with the hate week. So go check out Alabama Vintage. You'll find the Mississippi State hate week gear there at 2210 University Boulevard under the Crimson Awning in the heart of downtown T-Town. And if maybe if Mississippi State doesn't get your blood boiling enough, then certainly what'll get your heart racing is the jersey selection, is the hat selection, is the shoe selection, all the commemorative T-shirts, the memorabilia. I mean, it is a Crimson Tide fan's dream to walk in there, and a place, at a university that is so rich in tradition. Alabama Vintage really does a great job of, cherishing that tradition and allowing it to live on in new fashion ways. So go check them out. Alabama Vintage, right across from City Hall in the heart of downtown T-Town, 2210 University Boulevard. So we're still a little bit focused on Alabama, though, right? It's only natural. You lose a game, you want to figure out what your problems are. Well, what are Alabama's problems? I'll preface everything by saying Bryce Young is not a problem. Bill O'Brien is not a problem. And Pete Golding is not a problem. Can they do better to overcome the problems that Alabama has? Yes. But those three individuals who are catching a lot of blame and a lot of flack are not the sole proprietors of the problems that persist around the Alabama Crimson Tide football team. You like the alliteration there? I know you did. Joe Gaither. I had to really slow that one down, though. It was terrifying. No, it's the pass rush, it's the offensive line, and it's the receivers not named Jamison Williams, including the tight ends. Now, starting with the pass rush is, I don't think we understand the impact. I mean, maybe some people do, and it's just not as vocal. It's certainly not something that has been brought up that much. We kind of just, saw what happened with him and then kind of just moved on because Drew Sanders started to play well. I think it is lost on a lot of people how important the impact of the loss of Chris Allen is. Christopher Allen breaking his foot, or the foot injury, I should say, that he sustained that was season ending, that hurts Alabama in a big, big way because of the threat. He's a great pass rusher. Anytime I was ever down on Chris Allen, it wasn't because of his pass rushing ability. He's always been good at that. When I was down on him, it was because of his edge responsibility in the run game. Sometimes wasn't always there on that. But, clearly by the end of the year, last year, all of that had been gone away. Chris Allen was a major fixture on this team and a great football player. And I don't know if he's played his last down. There's with the COVID thing being what it is, it's hard to pinpoint. He's a redshirt senior, but does he technically still have another year of eligibility? Does he have a injury waiver, something? None of that's really been explained. So we don't know if he'll be back next year. I doubt he would because of his age and draft status, those sorts of things. All that being understood, then you lose Drew Sanders. And Drew Sanders, not a great pass rusher, a great athlete, though, and a great player on the defense. Allows Will Anderson to pass rush on most of his snaps rather than having to drop back, which is what he had to do in Drew Sanders' stead this past weekend, which kind of left Alabama pretty vulnerable in the run game, as well as in other situations where that's just not what Will Anderson is, elite at. He's not bad at anything, but he's not elite at pass coverage. He's an elite pass rusher. Then you weigh in the fact that, you run a 3-4 defense. So you have big, beefy defensive linemen who, yes, are more athletic than the big, beefy 5 techniques in the nose tackle that used to be so prevalent in a base 3-4 defense. Well, now your guys are a little bit more athletic, able to move around a little bit more. Byron Young, Fedarian Mathis, DJ Dale, Tim Smith, all those guys are good pass rushers. Mathis leads the team in sacks. But when it's those guys and Will Anderson dropping out, and then you mix in Dallas Turner, for the most part, being the guy that filled in for Drew Sanders, your pass rush is going to suffer. And it suffered greatly against A&M, a team that struggled to defend 3-man pass rushes from Arkansas. So you get into this space and you start to look, well, how do you solve those problems? Well, first you got to get Drew Sanders back. That's main thing number one. You got to get Drew Sanders back. Secondly, is just let Will Anderson run loose. I understand there's frameworks in the defense, and every coverage has to have a first line of attack that matches what the coverage is on the back end. But typically defensive calls, and I don't know if this is how Saban runs his defense, but typically, you can have your separate calls for each level of the defense, and you kind of go from there, right? So the back end could be in a cover 4 shell, but the underneath could be man. And then your pass rush can have different types of stunts, regardless of what's going on in the back end, right? Those types of things are available in many defenses. I don't know if that's the case with Alabama's defense. But either way, you've got to get to a point where Will Anderson is able to just run loose and be the guy that's consistently getting pressure on the quarterback, because 2 sacks from him ain't enough through 6 games. It's not even close to enough. And it's not because Will Anderson's playing bad. Will Anderson ain't played a bad game in forever, okay? I don't know that he ever has. He's not playing bad, but he needs help too. So when you listen to DJ Dale yesterday, or you listen to Will Anderson on Monday, and they're talking about, you have to rush as a team, all that is vitally important. Then you get to the offensive line. I don't know what you do about this offensive line. And I've been asked 100 times, do you start to mix in different rotations? Do you see what you can do at right tackle? Do you see what you can do at center? No. It's too far into the season. If there was somebody else, that somebody else would have gotten an opportunity by now. I hate to tell it, but that's the way it is. If J.C. Latham could handle the responsibility of being the right tackle, he'd be the right tackle. He would have gotten an opportunity to be the right tackle. Same with Damian George. Same with anybody that you could think of to put over there. And if anybody was good enough to take Darian Dalcourt's position from him, they'd have gotten an opportunity to do so by now. But that's just not the case. And I know that hurts, and I know that's annoying to hear, because there is a lot of talent on the offensive line in the depth. But that's just the reality. We're 6 games into the season. This is the best offensive line combination that you can have, and you kind of just got to deal with it and live with it. No, Chris Owens is not an elite right tackle. No, he's not even a traditional right tackle. When he goes to the NFL next year, he will not play one single snap at tackle his entire first 3 seasons in the league. He won't, because they've seen the tape. It ain't going to happen. But he's not a bad offensive lineman. Not even relatively close. Has he had struggles? Yes. The opposing player is allowed to make an effort. And sometimes the opposing player is really, really good. And all of that, coincides on the player. And if you don't have a better option, you don't have a better option. So what about the receivers? It's as simple as catching the damn ball. Joe Gaither wrote the article on Tide109.com. What was it? 8 drops? 8 drops. And many of those coming from John Mechie. Many of those coming 4. Half of them came from John Mechie. Jaleel Billingsley had 2. It starts to stack up. It starts to stack up. And guess what? The guys behind Slade Bolden and John Mechie and Jamison Williams, they ain't ready to go. Javon Baker, invisible. Nowhere to be found. Xavier Williams left the team before the season began. So you're already down 2 receivers without an injury who aren't available to you. JoJo Earl, though he flashed early, has not really taken the job from Slade Bolden yet. Don't know what that's all about. Maybe it's inexperience. I'm sure that's what it is. Ajayi Hall, good luck. You don't go from number 17 to 84 without there being a problem. I'm sorry. Like, I know it's a jersey number, but you got to have a little bit of perspective there. He's wearing 84 for a reason. It's an attitude adjustment. I promise you. Don't know for sure. It's all assumption, all a guess. That's what goes on there. Christian Leary, they've got him trying to be one of the emergency running backs. Ja'Cory Brooks, did block the punt, but that's the only place we've seen him. Where do you see improvement when guys just aren't catching the ball? And listen, this is where people say, well, Bryce should throw more accurate passes. Brother, he's completed 75% of his passes. I don't know what else you want out of that kid. He's thrown 20 touchdowns. And drops are drops for a reason. I just think complete passes, they're drops because the receiver got hands on the ball and should have caught them. Oh, but the referee didn't duck for one of Billingsley's passes. Tough luck. Referee didn't duck again for one of John Mechie's passes. Tough luck. You're at Alabama, dude. If NCAA still had video games coming out, you'd have 90-plus overall guys out here dropping the ball. And that's frustrating, right? We want to point the fingers for Alabama, but I think some of them are just guided. Because I think these are the three big things that are plaguing Alabama right now. How do you solve them? Yes, better coaching, better leadership, all of these sorts of things. Well, we talked about leadership since the beginning of the season. That's been a problem. Will Anderson's about the only guy that gets this thing vocally, publicly, that we've seen, right? Everybody else is kind of just, yeah, we've got good leadership. We just need to see kind of, if guys will follow. Nick Saban's right. You need leaders and you need followers. You need the followers to buy into what the leaders are given, and the leaders need to give good stuff to the followers. 100%. But you've also got to have leaders like step up and decide to be leaders and be good. Be good on the field, be good in their leadership role as a vocal leader, all those sorts of things. I don't know that Alabama's got that. And you certainly don't have good followers if Will Anderson is willing to publicly say, I don't think what I said 2 weeks ago was taken seriously. That's a serious problem, a serious accusation too. And listen, I'm not absolving Bill O'Brien and Pete Golding. They are part of the problem with all of these things, because what does a lot of this come down to? Coaching. And that trickles down into the position coaches as well. Why aren't the receivers able to catch these passes in big time games? And we can say, oh, that's just the Texas A&M game. No, it's not. Why do you think Jamison Williams is the only guy getting it done right now? Why do you think we have to question whether or not John Mechie is a number one wide receiver? And why a lot of fans have been begging just to replace Slade Bolden in every capacity the entire season. The tight ends had one bad game, so I'll cut them a little bit of slack. If Latu catches that one touchdown pass, a lot of things go away. If Jaleel Billingsley catches the second down pass on the goal line on the drive that everybody is losing their mind about concerning running the football, completely different game. And we never have to have that dumb conversation ever again. By the way, Jamison Williams, first and goal, didn't have any problem with that touchdown, did you? It was a running play. Should Bryce still have just given the ball to Brian Robinson, even though there was 11 guys in the box? No. Stop arrogantly wanting to run the football, by the way. Stop it. It ain't 1942. It ain't 1992 either. Stop. Your quarterback has thrown 20 touchdowns. 20 to 3 interceptions. But all we want to focus on is the interceptions. We want to focus on the fact that he won't run the ball. We want to focus on all these other negative things that aren't necessarily the crux of the problem. Oh, he's standing there too long. Well, maybe the wide receivers aren't getting open. Maybe the first read's not there and he's got to find a second read. The second read's not open. He finds the third read and now he's sacked because the offensive line can't block either. Everything is circumstantial and everything revolves around one another and everything's a team. So that's why you can say, well, the offensive line isn't playing well, the wide receivers aren't playing well. So in turn, that means Bryce Young can't play well, even though he technically is when you look at his stats, you look at the numbers, and you look at everything that leads up to what he's performed in the game, right? And we talk about how bad the offensive line is, but we don't credit the offensive line when Brian Robinson's got 500 yards and 6 touchdowns. Nope. Offensive line's still bad. It's just Brian Robinson doing his job. That doesn't add up. None of that adds up. And these are all things that I just continuously see from Alabama fans. And I'm not in like a warpath on Alabama fans. It's just perspective. And not to like Nick Saban says, not to lose respect for winning and to fear not necessarily fear, but to remember the feeling of loss, look at what the failures were and try to improve upon them, but know what you're looking at. Know what you're seeing and what the problem is. The problem ain't Bryce Young. The problem ain't throwing the ball 3 times with goal to go. Because earlier in the game, you did it. After that drive, you did it. And you scored touchdowns. Nobody cared. We're just happy we got points, right? You only want to talk about what to do when you don't like what happened. Because I dare anybody to try to figure out how to fix these linebackers too. These off-ball linebackers. Good luck. Because that's broken. Those guys, they're broken. We got solutions on how to fix the linebackers outside of benching them because they're the best athletes on the team. You can't just bench them. They're the smartest guys on the team too, that know the defense inside and out. They just can't shed blocks and they make poor efforts at tackling. Like the third play of the game, Christian Harris got juked out of his shoes and got up and was dancing after the play was made. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. So I'm not. Alabama can win a championship. Alabama can win the SEC. All of these different sorts of things. This isn't burn it down. This isn't none of that. There are problems that can be fixed. Our problems with the Crimson Tide are not more than about 127 other teams in the country. And they'll be resolved because they were exposed so badly against A&M. Remember how against Mercer, Alabama had a lot of problems, and then they went on a tear? Beat the tar out of Southern Miss, beat the tar out of Ole Miss. The team will learn. And surely after losing that game, they'll continue to learn. Or they'll fail. And we'll taste what true failure really tastes like. Because losing to Mississippi State, that's the end of it. You lose to Mississippi State, this whole thing is done. Whole thing is done. You open up the door for Ole Miss, you open up the door for Texas A&M, and this whole, or Arkansas, I should say, this whole thing is done. So everybody that's all doom and gloom and predicting, that Alabama is going to drop one to Mississippi State and all this other stuff, you're doing it to yourself. You're doing it to yourself. I don't think Alabama's going to lose to Mississippi State. And I don't think we should enter a state of absolute fear about what this team can do going forward. And I don't think we should immediately point fingers at things that we may not completely understand. And let Saban handle this thing the way that he does. I get paid to talk about it. Okay. And all of us are passionate about talking about it and trying to come up with these things. So I'm not saying don't find reasons and don't find things to look at and things to analyze and to hope that improve on. Just saying, look at the right things. It's harder to look at the trenches, and it's harder to accept that Alabama is continuously getting their ass kicked in the trenches. Because we're not used to it. But it'll get better. It always does. Because of Nick Saban. Is that rat poison? Maybe a little bit. It's the one thing we got to go on right now, though. Take a break. Your phone calls, 205-342-9904. We'll take a closer look at Mississippi State a little bit later as well. And Jamison Williams. I think, and not in a pat myself on the back kind of way with Jamison Williams. Just the fact that he's a baller. He's a dude. And we'll talk about it all next here on Off the Edge. Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service, they've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
But we have a truck leaving with a big order on Tuesday.
Tina's floor manager retired, leaving her tortilla factory flat out.
What do you mean she's on a silent retreat?
She must fill the role and all those orders.
I'm gonna oversee production.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Schedule virtual interviews and talk to candidates right from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Ask big.
Have you seen our artisan-created diamonds? If you've been in a room with one, you can't miss it.
Tom Osmond from Fincher and Osmond.
It's a diamond like I've never seen.
And he's seen a lot of diamonds.
Ask big.
At Fincher and Osmond, you can put artisan-created diamonds side by side with mined diamonds. When you see it,
more importantly, when she sees it,
FincherandOsmond.com.
McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Everybody loves Taco Casa. Everything we do in our store, we prepare in our store. You know, we hand cut all of our tomatoes. We block and shred our own cheese here in the store. So we still hand cut our chips, our sopapillas, our taco shells, our chimalupa bowls. Our chili takes about 4 to 6 hours to make every single day. The goal in that is to provide the freshest, best quality to our customers. So we just look at it as, hey, basically, we're your kitchen. You're just coming to eat in your kitchen. Taco Casa, under the biggest cactus in town.
Hey, Bama fans, before you head to the stadium to watch the Tide roll, stop by JD's Market and Spirits for all your tailgating needs for Bama football games. Located only 3 blocks from the stadium, JD's offers over 500 liquor items, 400 wine items, and a huge selection of craft, domestic, and imported beers. JD's also has hot dogs, snacks, ice, and game day supplies. Everything you need for tailgating. JD's Market and Spirits, 400 yards from Bryant-Denny Stadium on the west side. Call 722-2113.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A very warm afternoon, partly to mostly sunny, the high 87. Tonight fair with the low at 63. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high at 88. Friday partly sunny during the day, then a chance of rain showers Friday night, the high at 85. I'm James Spain on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 86 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
We aren't going anywhere. Off the Edge is available in the podcast center on Tide100.9.com.
No breaking news today out of the SEC coaches teleconference, but a couple of quotes from Nick Saban. He says that Alabama's response to the A&M loss has been good so far. But one of my favorite things that he said right here, Nick Saban on losing a game and still finding a way to win a national title. We've also taken a loss and not won a championship. So it's all about how you respond. And a little bit later, you have to respond from the edge of the cliff. One thing you don't go off the edge on is the cliff, just off the tackles. That's it. Little put-ups there for you. I hope that second quote, we've lost games and not won championships, is the way that you take that first segment. There's 2 ways to respond to these things. We talked about it after the Florida game. How would Florida respond to the tough loss to Alabama? Would they use that as a springboard to launch them into the stratosphere of the season, saying, hey, we almost beat Alabama. We're pretty close. What do we got to do to get there? Or would they falter? Would they not be able to use it as momentum, but instead would see it as a crushing blow? Well, considering they lost to Kentucky, despite putting up twice as many yards, I think we have our answer. How will Alabama respond? And the Mississippi State game, the Mississippi State game, that's not the token for it. That doesn't tell us much of anything. It's just one game. What will tell us is throughout the season. And listen, losing in the playoff, losing in the SEC championship, losing in the national championship, those wouldn't be the answer either, because those are difficult games against really good football teams. The barometer is the rest of the regular season and how you play in those games. And all that's on the eye test. Let's head out to the phone lines, 205-342-9904 if you want to join the show, and welcome in our friend Jeff. Jeff, what's going on, man?
What's going on? I just want to say, Willie Ash, he's still playing. I heard he was hurt for a while.
No, he's fine. He dinged up his knee in the Mercer game, but he's been
I
back.
know that's where I know your old buddy Drew DeArmond bashed that he should have been thrown out and all this, undercutting him and all his mess. That's part of football. If he can't take it, sit on the sideline, get somebody else in. If he can't take getting undercut, simple as that. Got undercut by an FCS player. Oh well.
Well,
that's football. Oh well.
I mean, I don't know what Drew said, but it was open field.
He said he shouldn't have undercut him. Illegal, whatever it is.
Yeah, if it's an open field cut block, it's illegal. So
I don't give a damn. He got chopped. Sit on the sideline. Oh well. Get somebody else in there, man. It's just 2 legs. You can replace them. You be all right.
that's exactly what happened. That was 5 weeks ago, Jeff.
Well, you go to a doctor, get you some legs. You be all right.
He's been all right.
Leg replacements. Get your leg. You be all right. Get you some artificial legs. Get out there. You be all right. Like I said, so don't be complaining when you get hurt. If you play sports long enough, you're gonna get hurt. So I don't just complaining.
I don't think I've heard Will Anderson complain one time about it.
Well, I heard Drew DeArmond complain. He complains about everything.
Well, this isn't Drew DeArmond's show, Jeff.
Well, I know it's not, but he don't think Kentucky throws. He thinks Kentucky's got to throw it 60 times to win. That's his problem. He don't think Will Levis is good enough, and Terry Wilson wasn't. But the fact remains, Terry Wilson won once in the swamp, and the great Peyton Manning, everybody thinks he's so great, he won 0. He went 0-4 in college. He didn't win no natties. And that's by T. Martin had to come in and win that for Tennessee. So, but like I say, we don't stand against Georgia anyway. We got no talent. We just got the leading rusher and leading receiver in the conference.
I'm sure you've seen the line, Jeff.
Robinson and Chris Robinson.
I'm sure
ain't nobody.
I'm sure you've seen the line, Jeff. What do you think of the 22.5 point favor for the Bulldogs?
I know that. Nobody is. It's us against the college football world. We all know it. It's double for the SEC. They don't want to see us win. We all know it. You hate Stoops just like DeArmond does. Simple as that. You can't stand him. We know that. You can't stand him. You don't think he's done a good job. We understand that problem. We know that. And I heard this morning, the guy was saying up here this morning does a show, he thinks Stoops is canning for the LSU job and all his business. Talking about he's at a basketball school in Kentucky. He might want to stay in Kentucky. He's at a basketball school and all this other foolishness. I'll tell you something, Jack. We got more than basketball. We're the defending NCAA volleyball champs. If you got news for you, and we also won. We got three titles in rifle. It's a co-ed sport. We got 3 titles in that, so we've won more in basketball. And like this guy said up here, there's a show in the morning in Tennessee. He said Kentucky will never, never, never win the SEC East. They will never be in Atlanta playing for an SEC championship. That's what he said before. He said when we played Florida, he said Florida's got a better roster than us, better coaching. And we beat Florida. He said Florida wasn't playing for nothing, no way. And then he said when we beat LSU, he said, well, Coach O was thinking about co-eds. He wasn't thinking about no football. So what I want to know is what's going to be the excuse if we beat Georgia Saturday? What's going to be the excuse then?
That their offense isn't good.
What's it going to be? Are you going to give us respect? No, we don't get no respect. I don't care what Stoops does. He is not going to get respect from the media, especially outside of the state of Kentucky. He's not going to around this conference. Georgia, I'll tell you, Griff, Gator Dave, all of them. The Gator Dave, Griff, at Rufino in Louisiana, he stayed down with Hurricane Ida that anyway. He should find his electricity. Because if he got some electricity, he might have some. He might be able to turn the television on. I doubt it, though. He might be able to. But you ain't going to give Stoops no respect until he does it. Until he plays for the SEC championship, then you might give him some. But I doubt it. He's 43-24 in his last 67 games. He's 55-50 overall. I mean, I know that's not good enough for you Bama fans. One loss, you go to crying, boo-hooing. The thing about Jimbo Fisher, he told Saban he's going to kick that butt, and he did it. And I loved on Feinbaum on Monday. They had a little golf score. The 12th man, 41. Big Al, 38. Want to hear from you. Want to hear from you on that. I believe that was the score, babe. And you better fix that defense, what you better do. You better fix that defense.
I agree.
You better do it, babe, because that tight end was running wide open. And can I tell you something, Jack? I could have ran all over Kyle Field, taught me some passes. So you better fix that defense and better get you some receivers. Maybe Devontae Smith can come back. That broke finger.
Hey, that'd be nice.
Finger. He can come back. We'll see, y'all. You might hang Mississippi State Saturday. You might hang with Mike Leach. We'll see, y'all. I hope you lose, and I'll be laughing out till then when you do. Hang in there, babe.
Absolutely. Jeff, we always appreciate it, man. I hope we see Kentucky in Atlanta. I really, really do, man. Prime time entertainment right there. And Jeff knows this. I mean, he's doing his spiel. He's complaining about other radio hosts that are not on this station. But he's got a point. A lot of people don't respect Kentucky, don't give them the shot to win, and then the 22-point line comes out. But I'm rooting for Kentucky, and I'll stake my claim right now, right after Jeff's call, that in my staff picks, where a $50 gift card to Chuck's Fish is on the line, $150 gift card to Chuck's Fish is on the line, and I'm in second place. I will take Kentucky in that game. I'll take Kentucky on the Saturday morning showdown with those picks as well. And if Kentucky doesn't come through, I won't blame Jeff. I'll blame, just the fact that I think they're going to win. I think they will. I'll stand by it. Kentucky's got a better shot than anybody in the regular season to beat Georgia. Georgia knows it. Georgia knows that if they win this game, they're going to Atlanta. There's nothing standing in their way. They got like Vanderbilt and Tennessee left. Like it's straight to Atlanta. It's straight an hour and a half down the road, right? It's not Atlanta. It's Athens. They know, which means they'll get up for the game. And I think it'll be a tight game. I think it'll be much tighter than what we got with Arkansas and Georgia. It's a 50-50 game, though, I think. I think there's plenty of reasons why Kentucky can win, their offense. There's plenty of reasons why Georgia can win, their defense. It'll be fun. Let's go back out to the phone lines. Welcome in Lewis. Lewis, what's going on?
Hey, I enjoyed the show a lot, and you probably addressed this earlier in the week, but I missed it if you did. But would you mind, and I'm going to hang up and listen, just your take on the use of timeouts and clock management at the end of the first half and at the end of the game? And I enjoyed the show. Thanks.
Absolutely, Lewis. A lot of people are hung up on the timeouts thing, and I'm not getting bent out of shape about the possibility of having 20 seconds. I'm really not. And I'm not saying Lewis has been out of shape about it. I'm not saying a lot of fans that are curious about the timeouts are been out of shape about it. I don't take it that seriously because Alabama wasn't playing well in the first half. They played better in the second half. They made their adjustments. So is it really worth that 20 seconds to make another effort at the end zone and possibly, get a turnover or do something else that cripples your what little momentum you have? And I'm not saying that's what would happen. I'm just saying it's a possibility, right? It's the same thing as, Bryce could have missed Jamison Williams wide open in the end zone, with nobody on him. And then we're back at square one with this red zone conversation, right? And I have no leg to stand on there about passing it in for a touchdown. I think it's 6 one way and half a dozen the other. Either you use the timeouts and you get the 20 seconds, 30 seconds if you're lucky, or you don't, and you just go into halftime and you do what Nick Saban does best. You make halftime adjustments. I mean, I say that Alabama's 0-4 when they're down by 14, but still, it's not like getting those 3 points so that they'd be down by 11 instead was going to make it an automatic win. So I'm neither here nor there about it. I don't think it's nearly as big of a deal as a lot of folks are making it out to be. Now, a lot, we keep hearing the jokes, you can trade them in at the end of the season, or, I really liked what our guy Hunter Johnson downstairs in sales said, that when he got back from A&M, he saw him just out there baking on Lurleen Boulevard, just baking in the sun, just looking for a ride. Somebody to give him a ride down to Burger King. It's too long of a walk and it's too hot outside, right? I get it. But at the same time, it's what Saban's always done. And if Saban's got one crux that in the end doesn't really hurt that bad, I'm going to take it. And I'm going to trust Nick Saban's judgment on everything. I analyze football, and I like to think that I have a pretty good understanding of the game, but I ain't Nick Saban neither. So if Saban's and I'll repeat what I said yesterday too. It's a shame that we didn't really get a full explanation on that, because he misunderstood the question from the SEC sideline reporter, or the CBS sideline reporter, I should say. Going into the half, he misunderstood the question, thought he was talking about offense. He didn't answer it, so. It's one of those things. Maybe we'll have to wait till the next time when he wastes, doesn't use his timeouts. But at the same time, often is he in a situation to have to manage the clock like that? Maybe you're just out of practice on it. Maybe you're too good for your own good, right? I'm joking. We'll take a break. 205-342-9904. If you want to join the show, you're more than welcome to. You can also join the comment sections of the streams that you're watching. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. You can always join us there at Off the Edge 109. Jacob Harrison here with you, Joe Gaither. We'll be back right after this on Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama sports.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
This is a metaphor for your business's journey. Sometimes it feels like you're going 100 miles an hour, barely keeping up. But to cruise through challenges, you need someone who's right there with you. That's what Dell Technologies advisors do. They have the Windows PCs and tech advice you need to get past whatever's in front of you and get where you want to go. Call an advisor today at 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL. A start to a simpler experience with Windows 11 Pro.
JCPenney's fall mystery sale is here. How much will you save? Hurry in store to find out. You could get an extra 30, 40, or even an extra 50% off Thursday through Sunday with Peel and Reveal coupon while supplies last. And with your surprise savings, you can easily refresh your closet and home. New fall styles, great fall savings. JCPenney. Coupon valid through 10/17. Some exclusions apply. Coupon giveaway in store only while supplies last. Must be 18 or older. See store or jcp.com for details.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com. Townsquare not only can help you find more local customers online, they'll also help you grow your business to a new level. With premium website services that get you new leads every day and no contracts to sign, there's no better time to join. Not only that, Townsquare also has a dedicated marketing specialist who will be with you every step of the way, making changes that will benefit you and especially your business. It's fast, easy, and you can cancel your subscription at any time. So hurry to mylocalcustomers.com and get your $500 in free advertising today.
Follow Off the Edge on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube for live streams and instant analysis. Off the Edge with Jacob Harrison continues.
We're back on Off the Edge, Tide 100.9, your home for Alabama Crimson Tide sports. Presented by Alabama Vintage. Hey, Jamison Williams, he's been added to the Bolitnikoff Awards 2021 watch list. He's caught 27 passes, 510 yards, 5 touchdowns. Listen, Jamison Williams is the number 1 wide receiver on this team. And I think a little bit of respect needs to be paid towards that. And we'll do it a little bit later in the show. Because first I want to talk about Mississippi State. I said earlier, they're 5 points away from being 5-0. They lost by, 2 to LSU and 3 to Memphis, I think. If not, it's the other way around. And they're playing good football. They're playing really good football for what was expected of them. Because what was expected of them was not much. Not much. Almost 370 yards per game in the air, completing 75% of the passes, 3 touchdowns per game. I mean, they ain't gonna run the ball, Just 56 yards per game, which is hilarious. That is laughably low. I mean, 17 first downs per game, 1 penalty per game, or excuse me, 8 penalties per game, 1.5 turnovers per game. Their offense is good. It's clicking. It's doing its thing. Will Rogers, 75% completion percentage. As I said, 14 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, doing the thing. He's got 3 receivers with at least 30 receptions. I'm going to go ahead and assume, not, and they say what they tell you what assuming does. Go ahead and assume that Alabama doesn't have 3 receivers with 30 receptions. Am I right? Yeah, they've got 1, and it's John Mechie. Go figure, the guy that I was about to argue against. John Mechie has 34. Jamison Williams is second with 27, and Slay Bolden is third with 15. JoJo Earl with 12. 3 guys tied at 10, and one of them's out for the year. The other 2 are the tight ends. Everybody else is less than that. Now, listen, Mississippi State throws the ball a stupid amount of times. They've already thrown 284 passes to Bryce Young's 197. That tells you quite a bit about what their intentions are. They extend their running game through the passing game with screens and RPOs and tunnel screens and swing passes and all that other sort of stuff. Like, and everybody keeps saying it, catch, snap, get the ball away. Catch, snap, get the ball away. That being said, Will Rogers has been sacked on average twice per game. So it's not impossible for Will Anderson to get in the backfield, for Fedarian Mathis to get in the backfield, for Byron Young, for DJ Dale, for Tim Smith, for all these guys. Dallas Turner, if he's out there, Drew Sanders, if he's able to come back, all those guys still have opportunities for sacks. And this is one of those offenses where they're going to throw the ball 60 times in the ball game. If you're able to disrupt him, get him off his spot, disrupt his timing in any way, then you're going to be successful. Use it to your advantage. And you have the full opportunity to do so. Now, don't let them lull you to sleep on those Russian, because a lot of their rushes are going to be draws and things of those natures. They lull you to sleep with the passing game, then they're able to gut you a little bit with the running game. That being said, 2 rushers with 29 and 40 carries, respectively. Dylan Johnson has 149 yards, has the least amount of carries. He's got a touchdown. He's averaging 5 yards a carry. Whereas Jaquavius Marks, who's got almost as many receptions as he does rushing attempts, he's getting it done in a lot of different ways for them. So, Marks is going to be one of the big guys to watch for their offense. But Will Rogers is smart with the ball. Wildly smart with the ball, by the way. But what you don't see very often, and they would crucify you if you were in the NFL, averaging this many yards per attempt. 6 yards per attempt. 6 yards per attempt. That's bad. Like, that's horrendous. Unless you're being coached by Mike Leach. In which case, it's efficient. Very efficient. 1,800 yards, 1,800 yards is everything is going exactly the way that Mississippi State could have hoped that it could go for their offense. We'll look at their defense later in the week. But offensively, things are going well for them. And they're in a ride of momentum. And, you consider, too, the fact, like I said, 5 points away from 5-0. You beat A&M on the road. Then you get a bye week. And then you draw Alabama after they lose to the team that you beat. So now you've got confidence. Now you've got, all that. You don't have to look back and say, oh, we lost 41-0 last year. And Will Rogers completed less than 50% of his passes and threw 2 of like the 5 interceptions he threw all year, right? You don't go in with the fear of Alabama, of the script A. Plus, you've been hearing all year that Alabama's vulnerable. Alabama doesn't do this well. Alabama doesn't do that well. I'll also say this, though, that, I was a little mean to the off-ball linebackers earlier. You know what Will Anderson, or what Christian, I do this all the time. You know what Christian Harris and Henry Toto are both good at? They're both good at chasing down those screens, those swing passes. They're both good at that. So maybe this is a game where, just like Ole Miss, they're able to put together one of their best performances. And maybe that's something Alabama fans are just going to have to live with. If an offense does things that these guys are good at, they'll be able to handle it. If they don't, it'll be what it is. I think Alabama's defense is set up to perform well against Mississippi State, but a lot of things do remain to be seen. We'll take a break, come back, close it down with a little bit of praise of Jamison Williams, who has quickly become the number one wide receiver on this football team. Next, here on Off the Edge, Tide 100.9.
Don't miss a play at the Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Your front row seat to all the action. Place bets on all professional and most college sports at the counter, kiosk, or on your phone. Then catch the game on one of our 20 big screens from the comfort of the newly remodeled Timeout Lounge. Plus, the PRR Sports app gives you access to live, in-play sports betting. Sportsbook at Pearl River Resort. Be more than a fan. Be a player. Must be 21.
At Shell, we know from the time you get up to the time you wrap up,
Good night.
there's a lot of meetups, eat-ups, and hurry-ups. So come to Shell and get 3 things done at once. Fill up with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus to help keep your engine running like new. Save up with the Fuel Rewards program and never pay full price for gas again. And snack up with in-store rewards to save even more at the pump. Make the most of the stop you need to make with Shell and engines that continuously use Shell V-Power Nitro Plus premium gasoline. See full terms and conditions at fuelrewards.com.
Has the pandemic affected your business? Even with more and more customers going online in the past 5 years, online business has grown greatly due to the pandemic. Now more than ever, it's important to have a strong online presence so that customers can find your business and products easily. That's where Townsquare comes in to help. Go to mylocalcustomers.com for a free competitive analysis to see how your business stands up to the competition. And if you're one of the first to sign up, you'll get $500 in free advertising on this radio station. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa. Quality is number one. You got to start with a good quality product, but it's got to be at a good value to the customers.
Everything is about quality.
You just can't beat the quality, taste, and value.
And it's because we take pride in providing you with the best.
Good customer service and good food, good quality.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
To remind pet owners that Progressive covers pets on our auto policy at no extra charge, we're making a really cute pet-themed radio commercial. Hear that snoring? 2 sleeping puppies. Oh, they're awake! And they're heading over to that cute chubby baby that's just sitting there. What? Oh, now they're licking his face. Words will never do this justice. You'll just have to picture it.
Get coverage for your pets with an auto policy from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverage for cats and dogs included with the purchase of collision coverage and is subject to policy terms.
Have you wanted to speak a new language but thought it'd be too difficult or take too much time? Then try Babbel. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel teaches you conversations that you will actually use. With 14 languages and lesson topics like travel, business, relationships, and more, you'll learn what matters most to you. Babbel. Language for life. Learn a new language with ease. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com.
In a collision, easy decision. One name, one firm, one call. Mesrano.
I made that one call to Mesrano after being hit by an 18-wheeler. He got me $875,000.
I made that one call to Mesrano after being T-boned on McFarland. He got me $125,000.
I made that one call to Mesrano after my fender bender. He got me $50,000.
One name, one call, one firm. Mesrano.
No representation made that quality legal services to be performed is greater than quality legal services performed by other lawyers.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
A very warm afternoon, partly to mostly sunny, the high 87. Tonight fair with the low at 63. Tomorrow mostly sunny with a high at 88. Friday partly sunny during the day, then a chance of rain showers Friday night, the high at 85. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 86 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Off the Edge on Tide 100.9.
Yeah, today was the day that journalism stood still, Adam Schefter is, in a lot of hot water from the journalism community. Apparently, though, a reporter for the Oklahoma student newspaper used binoculars from a public building to report that Caleb Williams, who stepped in for Spencer Rattler in the Red River shootout, was doing practice with practicing with the first teamers, getting first team reps. Got quotes from Spencer Rattler's dad that Spencer Rattler is still committed to Oklahoma. And then, coincidentally, Oklahoma football canceled all media availabilities today and didn't really give a reason. Interesting. Was that good journalism? Maybe a little sneaky, but hey, these teams don't want to give us any access. What are you going to do? Buy a pair of $30 binoculars and go to work. You don't need binoculars to catch Jamison Williams doing what he's doing. And what he's doing is absolutely incredible. And listen, I talked about him before the season. Thought he was set up for great success. And I still stand by that. And it's because the dude's got 500 yards. Okay. And when you look at what he is doing for this team, they'd be in a lot of trouble without him. And I know he doesn't lead the team in receptions. John Mechie does. But John Mechie has not been an impact player. He's been a reliable player for the most part. He was not on Saturday. Jamison Williams is an impact player. And you can see it when he runs. That when he said that he's trying to crib, that he's just trying to score touchdowns when he gets the ball, you can tell it in the way that he runs. And that's something we didn't even see at Ohio State. That's something we got exclusively at Alabama. We knew about speed. Now it's even more special. This man's just trying to crib. Love me some number one on the Bolitnikoff Awards watch list. The Jay Barker Show is up next. Game with Ryan Fowler follows after that. And then we got a little Tide tonight as well. All here on your home for Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Tide 100.9. For Joe Gaither, I'm Jacob Harrison. Y'all have a great Wednesday, everybody.
Thank you for listening.